Welcome back and thanks for joining us. We got an exciting episode here for you guys, episode 10, joined by Cooper and Giovanni. We're going to talk a little bit about the NFL draft and all the drama that took place there. We're going to talk a little bit about the Cavs and them going into what should be the conference semifinals. And then finally, we got some hot takes that I kind of bounce off the guys and see what you think of them, see what you think might pan out and what your opinion on those are. Um, we pick up talking about the draft and the drama and the excitement that went down with the Shedeur Sanders saga, and that the Cleveland Browns ended up jumping on him in the fifth round. Hope you guys enjoy. Let's go.
To be honest, I was really shocked about it. To be honest, I thought he was gonna go top five in the first round, but he didn't because of his trash talking from the NFL Combine. But he was supposed to be a day two pick the next day. He didn't even got a call. He was projected to be a day three pick. He was supposed to go in the fourth round. He didn't. But finally in the fifth round, at a fourth pick, the Cleveland Browns finally got the call that Shedeur Sanders will be on their way to Cleveland. So honestly, pretty much that was crazy for Shedeur Sanders. And pretty much his dad doesn't want his son to be in Cleveland anyway. So that's what I have.
Yeah, I mean, I, I don't know, Cooper. What'd you think? We'll go.
I thought it was pretty wild that at first what I saw was he's getting his number already retired at Colorado, which is crazy. But then I was talking about that with someone and then they're like, "Oh no, didn't you see? He had a whole room at the draft." And it's like he's got this huge room with screens and stuff and he has all that just to not even go drafted first or second day. And I heard it was because of he has a huge ego and he's talking all this trash and he's not showing up to workouts or anything. But still, you have players like in the past, like Johnny Manziel, who did very similar shenanigans, and they still got taken in the first round. So maybe there's something like secretive going on here, or I don't know. But I think it's insane that he fell so low after being like hyped up so hard.
Yeah, you bring up a guy like Johnny Manziel, but I mean, look at how Johnny Manziel turned out.
This is also true.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, in the coaching world, you kind of talk about like how much stuff you're going to put up with compared to how much they produce. So, especially with a GM, if you're going to have somebody who basically says, you better be ready to change your entire franchise when you draft me, yeah, I don't know if they really want to deal with that. I mean, he's basically saying, I can do your job better than you can, and I'm going to run this team. You aren't. So, I'm sure that would probably scare some coaches and GMs away. Um, yeah, Giovanni brought up a good point. He did a lot of like he went on kind of a tour of just trash talking and just not even showing up to training camps or pro days or the combine. He didn't even go to the combine. He threw a couple passes at Colorado's pro day, but even then, it's not. He wasn't doing anything or showing anything that NFL scouts didn't already know. Um, Going back to the retiring the number thing, I mean, the in my personal opinion, this might be a hot take. The only reason they retired that number is because his dad's there. I mean, Travis Hunter is a Heisman quarter or Heisman player. I mean, he's a wide receiver cornerback that could completely change a franchise when you draft him. Shedeur Sanders is not that person. And you play at a team that wins 9 games and you're retiring his number because he won 9 games.
Yeah, I think that's kind of ridiculous. And I also have a bit of a hot take about Travis Hunter. He, I saw him winning the Heisman. Oh,
You're
I
right.
saw him win the Heisman. He won the Bolitnikoff Award. But I feel like I don't want to say he didn't deserve it, but I just feel like he just won those because of the way he plays, which is playing on both sides of the ball. Which, don't get me wrong, it's outstanding that he can do that, but I don't think he was the best player at either one of his positions personally.
I think it was more a feat of, "Wow, look what he did," rather than any of the statistics or numbers. I mean,
Yeah,
we don't see many players play both sides of the ball, let alone play them as well as he did. But you're right. I mean, you're taking some clout away from a guy like Ashton Genty who dominated the position. He was truly the best running back in college football, and it was just overshadowed by somebody who gained hype from Deion Sanders and just kind of was able to be an athlete on the field.
yeah. Not that that's a bad thing for Travis Hunter. I mean,
No,
he's getting taken by the Jacksonville Jags second overall. Like he's still a great player, but
sure.
I just don't know if maybe those are the right awards for him.
Yeah, Jabril Peppers. You bring that
Yeah,
name up. He did exactly the same thing. He played both sides of the football and played special
he played.
teams.
I was gonna say he played Didn't he play basketball too?
I don't
Or
know
am I
about
thinking of a
that.
different guy?
Uh, Jab- no, you're thinking of
Might be thinking of
the
Julius.
the defensive. Yeah, Julius Peppers.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah,
He
yeah,
played
no.
basketball.
Jabril Peppers, strong safety for
Played for the
Michigan.
Patriots, right?
Michigan played for the Browns. He was
Oh
drafted by
yeah.
the Browns. Um, and he did the same thing. And I mean, he was up for a Heisman nomination, but he didn't win it. So I, it's one of those things where it's is Travis Hunter really as good as in college football as Deion Sanders made him out to be? You know, giving him the opportunity to play both sides, throw him a lot of passes, put him in situations in press coverage where he can get a lot of interceptions, and then I mean, I guess we'll see. You know, you put him on the field with, you know, a lockdown cornerback who's not playing for Colorado State and, you know, like just some no-name college, it might be a lot different. So we'll see. Uh, Giovanni, what do you think about the Browns passing on him, with that second overall pick?
I mean, everybody was like upset and angry about it, but when we took Mason Graham with the fifth overall pick, I don't think we were not mad about it. I think Andrew Berry made a genius move on getting those draft picks for next year's draft for the first round pick, and then getting those draft picks for later rounds for this year. So I think Andrew Berry made the right move, but getting Mason Graham, he is a Michigan guy. Um, he can play defensive tackle beside with Miles Garrett. But I really wanted Travis Hunter first thing, but I didn't even mention Mason Graham. Like I didn't, but I would take Mason Graham and then Quinshawn Judkins in the second round. That was a good pick. Ohio State guy, love that guy. And then uh and then that's what I had.
Yeah, we'll go through all those. Yeah, we'll go through the Browns draft first. Mason Graham, D tackle. When you talk about like they go out and they sign Miles Garrett to this big contract, and like the first thing you have to do for Miles Garrett is give him some protection. As weird as that sounds, he gets double teamed pretty much every game. He's not much of a threat if they can put two people on him, and you know you then you have to rush your other three to the other side of the field. Um, Mason Graham literally lining up shoulder to shoulder with him will cause problems. I mean, you watch his highlight reel and he was just blowing offensive lines up. And he's a run stopper. He was getting to the quarterback. He's not just your kind of clog the hole. He's like a finesse technique kind of guy. And I think that those two together will cause some problems. Um, so I don't mind that pick. I think that, you know, the things I started off saying about Hunter, the more you sit back and think about it, Hunter is an athlete. He will produce it wherever he goes in some capacity. If he's not a wide receiver, they'll turn him into a cornerback. It's not a big deal. Um, I don't think taking him second is a bad idea, but however, I don't think that trading down to the fifth overall pick is a bad idea either, because what they did was they gained draft stock. And you're right. You bring up a really good point that next year, the draft is gonna look a lot different. You're gonna have some guys like Caleb Downs coming through, Arch Manning. That could completely change a franchise as well, for a team like the Browns. Um, I don't think that Shedeur Sanders was the answer. I don't think that Travis Hunter is gonna completely change the franchise. Um, but I think that guys like Mason Graham are where you build a team, then you put in those high specialty players and something happens, when you do drop in those specialty players. So it'll be interesting to see. Um, but yeah, they go on day two. So they had two picks the first day. Um, well, they had one pick the first day. I'm sorry, two picks the second day, and they go on to take Carson Swishinger and Quinshon Judkins. Um, can't say I had really done a lot of homework on Swishinger. But, I mean, he looked good on film, right? Did you watch any of the highlights of him?
No, not at all. But some saying that we needed a linebacker bad
Oh,
coming
yeah.
into this. But I would say that was a good pick.
Yeah. I know there were a lot of injuries last year, and who knows who's healthy at that linebacker position, so that wasn't a bad hole to fill. Um, it wasn't one of their needs, but, best on the table at the time, I guess, but, um, what do you think about, picking Quinshon Judkins over Travion Henderson?
I mean, Quinshon Judkins is an Ohio State guy. He ran for 3 touchdowns in the national championship game. Travion Henderson is a beast also, but Quinshon Judkins over Travion Henderson, I can live with that. I know Judkins can run both sides of the ball well. He can play well, but getting him over Travion Henderson, I mean, I'm not even mad about it. I'm just glad that we took a running back because who knows if Nick Chubb is going to stay with the Browns for another year or leave for another team. But at least the Browns got a good running back out of Ohio State like Quinshon Judkins.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that, I mean, when you put the 2 on paper, both have positives, and they're really they're the kind of the fill in the gap for the other one. One's a good receiving blocking speedster, and the other is a, power back who can just get you that extra yard. He's great in the red zone. I mean, like you said, 3 touchdowns in the national championship game against a good defense, so, the number 2 defense in the nation in Notre Dame, so you know that he can handle his own in the NFL. I don't see a problem passing on Travion Henderson. Personally, I probably would have liked Travion Henderson. I think that he brings something to the locker room. He's a true leader. Um, but Quinshon Judkins, I mean, he's a proven running back, and I think that he'll do just fine in the NFL. They kind of took a page from the Lions playbook, Coop, because
Yeah, I mean,
they go on in the fourth round and they draft Dylan Sampson, who's a speedster. Um, And, hopefully that works out the same. What Go ahead, Cooper.
well, so like you were just talking about, one of them's a speedster, the other one's real strong, like a what do they call it?
3rd
So
down back.
yeah, third down back, just like a bruiser,
Mhm.
and that is very similar to the kind of the offensive scheme that the Lions have
Sure.
with Jameer Gibbs and Dave Montgomery. And obviously, we've seen how Ben Johnson made that work last year, and even the year before when they went to the NFC Championship game against the Niners. And I really I like to watch. That's a fun offense to watch, definitely in my opinion. And I would like to see that spread more like around the league because you look at a lot of teams like the Eagles. I don't Who's the Eagles' other running back besides Saquon Barkley? I don't think I know.
Off the
So
top of my head,
I feel
I have to
like
look it up.
kind of the Sonic and Knuckles like peanut butter and jelly kind of running back duo. I really like that, and I would like to see that more. I like that for the Browns.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Will Shamply for the
Say
Eagles.
say that again.
Will Shipley from a number 2 running back.
Gotcha. Well, yeah, I what that tells me with those 2 picks and not going after a wide receiver because there were some on the board, um, is that Chubb's done. I don't think I don't see him getting re-signed to the Browns. I see them releasing him. Um, yeah, kinda sad. I mean, Nick Chubb, like, gave it all to the Browns. Stinks. It's a business. You want Nick Chubb around, but I mean, he's now what is he, 6 years, 7 years into his career, and 2 knee surgeries later, his production numbers went way down this year, and that's not I mean, that was in, the span of the games that he did play. I'm not talking about the games that he missed. He wasn't as crisp. I know he's coming off an injury, so that's a big question mark. I'm sure they'll work him out and try him out and then make their decision before training camp, but stinks. What do you think? You think he's done or you think he's sticking around?
I think he's done just because we picked up a real guy like Dylan Sampson. He had like 22 touchdowns in college. And then, of course, Quinshon Judkins out of Ohio State, which that could be a possible replacement from Nick Chubb. But I honestly think Nick Chubb is done. I don't think he's not coming back. I want him back, but honestly, he's not coming back.
Yeah. What do you think, Coop?
Yeah, I mean, I saw that they didn't extend him or whatever. Or they haven't offered him anything yet, and seeing them draft two running backs, it's like you get the feeling that maybe Nick Chubb is not going to be a Cleveland Brown next year. And I'm not even a Cleveland Browns fan, and I'm sad because Nick Chubb has given like so much to the Cleveland community. Like
Yeah.
my dad loves Cleveland. My dad loves Nick Chubb. He, but yeah, it stinks.
He's one of those guys like in a city like Cleveland, like whose jersey do you buy? And so like Cleveland,
It's Miles Garrett and Nick Chubb.
it's hard to buy a
That's who it is.
jersey when you don't know if they're going to be on the team in a year or they're going to be good at all. Like all those people who bought Baker Mayfield jerseys and then he's gone, right? So it's tough. Nick Chubb was one of those guys you'd hope he'd retire with the Browns, but it's one of those situations where running backs' lifespan in the NFL is just not there. I think that's a big reason why they went with somebody like Mason Graham in that fifth pick because defensive linemen last a little bit longer, and you might get a different level of production out of them. But I do think that Quinshon Judkins, give him a couple years, he could turn out to be something similar to a Nick Chubb. Didn't Nick Chubb go in the 5th round?
Something like
He was a
that.
later pick. I remember watching, the Hard Knocks for the Cleveland Browns, um, when they drafted Baker Mayfield and Nick Chubb, and that was one of the opening scenes was they both walk into the airport together, and all those people start, like, gathering around Baker Mayfield, and Nick Chubb is standing right next to him, and no one even says hi to him. So, that was what did he go?
He went second round, 35th pick in the 2018 NFL Draft.
Okay, so 2nd round, I was way off.
Mhm.
So, okay, so I would say the one spot that the Browns didn't really fill that they needed to fill, in my opinion, was wide receiver. I think that they have wide receivers. Um, and I might be wrong with this. It may be like there weren't very many good wide receivers, so they didn't kind of bite on any of those that they're saving some picks for next year, but um, they could have definitely used somebody. The Harold Fannin pick, I mean, that one kinda was a question mark too. He's more of a receiving tight end from what it sounded like.
Yeah, so I had seen a stat about him earlier in the year, and it was like for a while. I don't know if he was at the end of the college season, but for a while he was leading the entire NCAA in receiving yards, and like he's just a big receiver. I feel like he plays very similar to like Travis Kelsey, where Travis Kelsey's more of a receiving tight end, and for me, kind of like that pick for the Browns because like you said, they don't really have that many receivers. And in terms of tight ends, like they have a good tight end, solid tight end in David Njoku, but I feel like if you can spread the ball between two tight ends there, and one of them is a real like receiver, I thought that was actually a good pick in my opinion.
Yeah. And I mean, when you look at their QB room, they don't have a gunslinger. Um, Deshaun Watson is not what he was in Houston, if that's the route they go. Which it kind of looks like that's what they're going to do is they're going to stick with Deshaun Watson and kind of try and get these guys to um, kind of grow under him before they pop him in. Um, Having two tight ends kind of filling that middle might help a little bit, but I mean, I guess that's something we'll see. All right, Coop.
Yeah.
I didn't look very close. How'd Detroit do?
I didn't think it was a terrible draft for them. I mean, obviously they didn't get any super high picks. So in the first round, they took Tyleik Williams out of Ohio State, who's a D tackle, which I like that pick because
Hmm.
obviously much later into the year you have like 11 starters on IR, and a lot of those guys are on defense. So I feel like that's not really a hole that they're trying to fill, but like maybe something that they want a little more depth at. And I wouldn't say like the only like real weaknesses of the Lions last year were mostly defensive, and they didn't draft any corners because in March they drafted or they signed like three corners. They signed Rocky Sin and Avante Maddox, and then they re-signed a few guys. Like they put Kirby Joseph on a huge extension, so they didn't draft any corners because they signed a bunch of them, which I mean that makes sense. And then the only thing that was kind of confusing me for the Lions draft was they drafted two wide receivers, which is not really something I thought that the Lions needed. Amon St. Brown, Jamison Williams, Tim Patrick. I feel like that's already a strong three wide receivers that we have, and then we also have a strong tight end in Sam Laporta. I didn't think we needed any, but they drafted what's his name, Isaac Taslaw out of Arkansas, who I mean, what's crazy is he played 3 years in Division 2 first, and then he went to Arkansas. So I mean, third round pick, picking up a wide receiver. I don't know how that's gonna work out, but I feel like maybe that'll just allow them to spread the ball around more and like open up the offense. But yeah,
Do you think Williams becomes trade bait?
I heard, I heard. Mm,
Because that's what I've heard. That I mean,
that's what I was
I
gonna say.
wouldn't.
I've heard
If
that.
I were you, I wouldn't want that to happen because he brings the speed.
No,
He takes the top off the defense.
I love Jamison Williams. He is like that's my guy right there. And I don't want I don't want him to be. Uh,
Who's the new offensive coordinator?
I don't even know. Like I should know, but
Giovanni, you on that?
I'm
Yeah.
googling it as well.
Attaboy.
John Morton.
Don Morden.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I don't know his style, but maybe he's West Coast, kind of like Shanahan. You just like put four wide receivers out there and let them just run around. Could
Yeah.
be.
So he wait a minute. So he actually was in Denver for the past 2 years.
Okay.
What was it doesn't say what he's doing is so he started in Detroit as the senior offensive assistant, and then in 2022 he went to Denver to join Sean Payton, but now he's back, and so he's 55. So basically, like the exact opposite of Ben Johnson, who is an extremely young guy, and he was also the offensive coordinator of the Jets in 2017. So
Okay.
hopefully,
Oof. Jets were not good in 2017.
yeah, hopefully he's got some good offensive schemes, but I really didn't want to see Ben Johnson go either. Like
No.
that, in my opinion, the whole of Ben Johnson and then Aaron Glenn leaving was way bigger than any players that we needed to draft.
Yeah.
Because Ben Johnson is
You weren't
electric.
keeping him though, and that's one of the hard things about this business, this NFL, football, whatever, college football business is that as soon as your team gets good, then your coaches start leaving,
Yeah,
and it's tough. I mean, it happened to the Patriots, it happened to Ohio State this year. I mean, just is what it is. I mean, you just hope that somebody steps up into that role, that whoever they mentored moves up with into that spot, but and that kinda sounds like that's what it was, that he was, assistant offensive coach, and he might
yeah.
fall into Ben Johnson's role, but yeah, Ben Johnson, yeah, it's a big loss. I mean, I'm excited to see what the no offense, to what the Bears can do. I mean,
No, yeah,
they had
that's
a
gonna
I
be.
thought they had a pretty good draft. That could be interesting.
What scared me was I saw stuff that they were gonna draft Ashton Genty, and
Mhm.
I was thinking to myself, if Ben Johnson gets his hands on Ashton Genty, it's over.
Yeah.
Cause oh man, Ben Johnson. I remember seeing like the at the end of 2 seasons ago when they lost to the Niners, and everyone's like, "Oh, Ben Johnson's getting contract offers from this place and this place," and then he goes into the press conference. He's like, "I'm staying in Detroit," and I was like, "Oh, let's go." Ben Johnson's never gonna leave, but
No.
uh,
Well,
it's all right. I
that's all right.
mean,
Yep. They'll find a way. They're still a good
yeah,
team. They still have a
yeah,
good head coach. They play hard for him, so it's just they gotta find the right, like, I don't know, they gotta find the right roles for those guys and how they plug in. But yeah.
yeah.
All right, Denver, my team, we did a lot of trading. Those first couple days, we traded a lot of our picks away, um, or traded down, and I think it was kind of the same scenarios that we're reloading for next year's draft. It's tough with the Chargers and the Chiefs in the same conference, um, or division, just because it's hard to. Yeah, we're playing for the wild card spot, and then whenever Patrick Mahomes does, retires or whatever he has to do, I think that'll be a big thing. But I know two of the things that they were really looking at was a tight end and then a wide receiver. They wanted to go after those two things. And so as the draft board went by, the two tight ends that were the best on the board, and after that, I don't know how good the tight ends were. I know the Browns ended up selecting Fanon, but Warren, and then the kid from Michigan. Those two are both really good. They were off the board, so I have a feeling Denver's draft strategy completely changed. And then the Bucks selected Emeka Mbuka one pick before the Broncos. I was really hoping for that one, man. I just missed it. So they went with the Jade Barron from Texas as a cornerback. Denver's defense is about to be like unstoppable as long as they're healthy. I mean, their secondary is amazing. They picked up two edge rushers, one from LSU, one from Alabama. They're going to be good. They did get running back from UCF, RJ Harvey, and then they did end up picking up a wide receiver in the third round, Pat Bryant. But I don't know. I think that they have the weapons. I just think they need more, and so that something might happen closer to the season as far as getting Bo Nix some help. Um, as far as wideouts, they went and got Evan Ingram right before the draft, a couple weeks before the draft, and that was a big pickup for them, because their tight ends haven't done a whole lot. So we'll see where it goes. I don't know. I think it was like a C grade for the Broncos as far as the draft. I don't think they did bad, but they didn't do. I don't think the chips fell where they wanted them to, and so their draft kind of fell apart after that. And they just kind of started trading picks and getting guys as best fit. So, what would you grade the Browns, Giovanni?
Some saying B minus, some saying A, but I'm gonna give it an A minus because I expect for the Bowling Green player to go rounds. I know he's a Canton, Ohio guy, but I would give this grade I have the Cleveland Browns NFL drafted this year, A minus.
Yeah, I would actually agree. I know you didn't get Travis Hunter in that first round and had the opportunity to, but the Shedeur Sanders thing, to get him in the 5th round, even if he doesn't work out, I mean, it's worth a shot, right? So I can't believe he fell as far as he did. Um, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if it was collusion, what comes out, if all the owners got together and said, "Don't draft this guy," or, if it was something else, like, they just, they didn't see what they wanted to see, and, I mean, preseason will show too. Is he really that good? Could be. Cooper, what would you give Detroit?
I'd probably give him like a a B. Like, and then here's my thing. It doesn't really matter what I give him because, like in the past, Jameer Gibbs, everyone hated that pick. Like everyone was like, "Oh, terrible pick." But Brad Holmes is like, the guy is a genius. He's he's an excellent GM. So I'm gonna say like a B because I don't know about picking the two wide receivers, but I have faith in Brad Holmes that he knows what he's doing and he's making good picks. So
Sure.
we'll see how it pans out in the future.
Okay, good. All right. That was talking NFL. Um, there's something else going on right now that the NFL always seems to overshadow. I feel like the NFL always kind of digs their claws into media. The NBA playoffs are currently happening. If you couldn't tell by Giovanni's getup, right? He's rocking the chains and the hat, and yeah. Anyway, the Cavs are a wagon right now. How about yesterday's game? 40-point win, well, 38-point win, and Darius Garland didn't even play. So, um, Giovanni, you concerned about Darius's toe?
No, not at all. But I heard that Darius Garland and Tyler Hero was talking a lot of smack about Tyler Hero's defense,
Mhm.
and had to give Garland a slap on the back, and that's why Garland was out for Game 3.
So you think it was more punitive, that he was
Yeah.
punished. Ah, toe. Gotcha. Read between the lines, right? Um, so that is this series over? Are we is it done?
We're up 3-0. We got one more game tomorrow night.
I hear you, Giovanni. I hear you. But is it done?
Um, I would say 85% chance yes. Um, Probably 50%, 15% no.
It's over. No, yeah, I don't think I think the Heat are packing it in. They're ready to go to Cancun. Coop?
I agree. I agree with that, especially with last year they went crazy with Jimmy Butler, but no more Jimmy Butler. And the only person I've seen putting it out there on the floor is Davion Mitchell.
Mhm.
That guy's a dog. I was I was on vacation. We're in a restaurant, and I'm looking at TV. Who is D Mitchell on the Heat wearing number 45? And I'm like, who is this guy? Because he's going out there and he's putting it all on the court. But no, I don't think the Heat can come back down 3-0, really. But yeah,
No,
I think the Cavs are taking that one.
I don't see it happening. I mean, they are in Miami, so I'll say the game 4 is close. It's a 10-point game within 10 points. But I don't see the Heat coming back. Which brings us to the other side. Oh, well, let's talk about the other games. So you got Milwaukee Bucks and the Pistons playing.
Bucks and Pacers.
Bucks and Pacers, sorry.
You're good.
That's we play the winner of that, right?
I think
Yeah.
so.
Yeah. So Pacers scare me. Bucks don't scare me. Um, uh, I know Lillard is back and healthy. And Giannis is Giannis, but Tyrese Halliburton, he's a dog.
I
Uh,
love Tyrese Halliburton.
he kind of scares me. I think he's one of those players that could throw 30 plus points up in a night. Now I know Giannis can too, and I know that Dame could as well. But I think we match up better against those guys. I think we have two huge presence in the paint that kind of shut down Giannis, make him.
Defensive player of the year, Evan Mobley, by the way.
That's right.
Defensive player of the year.
Yep. I think that they shut guys like him down, and Dame. Our wing defense has been amazing. I mean, those guys coming off the bench have been just they did exactly what Giovanni and I talked about it like at the All-Star break. They've kind of stepped up and filled in those roles. They don't have to go score points. They have to grab rebounds, fill minutes, play defense, and then let Garland, let Allen, let Mobley, let Mitchell, let them do all the work. So yeah, I think that I like our matchup against the Bucks, but right now the Pacers they have the advantage, correct?
Yeah.
So I they scare me a little bit more.
Yeah, what scares me, especially with Tyrese Halliburton, is he is so smart. He will always find a way to he'll find a way to score, but he's also going to find a way to pass the ball and get as many everyone else get as many points as possible. Like he's for the team scoring, and that is like I feel like an element of the game that the Bucks don't have as much
Right.
as the Pacers. So I
Yeah,
agree that Tyrese Halliburton is very scary.
Bucks is more matchup based, one-on-one ISO, whereas the Pacers do play kind of team ball. So, Giovanni, what do you think? Which one would you rather have, or what are your thoughts on either team?
Probably the Bucks or just the Bucks. Giannis is playing great, but the team around him sucks. Besides Dame, respectively. But honestly, the Indiana Pacers with Tyrese Halliburton and Pascal Siakam, they are both to watch for sure.
Yeah,
I think TJ McCollum um, is was the sixth man, but honestly, I think um, the Pacers might play the Cleveland Cavaliers.
yeah. Fun fact for those of you that didn't know, I guarded CJ McCollum in high school.
I did not know that, but that's awesome.
We played Glen Oak in a scrimmage. Well, I in a scrimmage, and then CJ was on their freshman team. CJ and I graduated the same year, and he was shorter than I was his freshman year, and then
You get
somewhere in his senior year, he grew like 6 or 7 inches.
Did you get buckets on him?
And I was no.
Also,
Let's be
I know you're
honest.
talking. You were talking. You were talking about that the ISO matchups with the Bucks, and I think we really saw how kind of flawed that is with Kyle Kuzma 0 0 0 0 0 0 in like 21 minutes. That was crazy. He looked like Tony Snell out there.
Yeah, the comparisons of Kyle Kuzma to other guys is just like he's not an all star. I don't know why they keep. He's a six man. He'd be great coming off the bench somewhere, but for some reason they think he's going to be a starter somewhere, and
No.
he has done nothing everywhere he's gone.
Yeah,
So
I don't agree with that at all.
okay, so we got the Knicks and the
Pistons.
Pistons playing the winner of the Celtics and the Magic, which the Celtics are handling them just as fine as well. So it looks like the Celtics will probably move on, and I would say the Knicks. They won again today. Um, the Knicks look good. They look
They do look
solid.
good.
Um, they're more of that ISO stuff though. Like they let Cat do his thing. They let oh, who else? Who's the point
Yeah,
guard?
Jalen Brunson.
Brunson. Yeah, they let all those guys do their own thing. And I know that Brunson creates plays for some of those other guys, but it's a lot of just like dribble, 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 get past them, throw an oop or throw an off balance shot. And I mean, he's a scorer, which is why they let him do it. But I'll
Yeah, I mean
take that any
the
day for defense.
the one thing though, I do think Cat is a very underrated passer. Like
He
I
is.
I've seen him. He's especially on the Knicks. Like even just in the season he's been here, I've seen so many like crazy like passing highlights from him. And obviously, I want the Pistons to win, but
Right.
I think it's already good enough just making it to the playoffs. And you've seen where they came from last year, being like the literally the worst team in the league by far, like having a 26 game losing streak, and then coming back with Cade Cunningham. In my opinion, I think he's top 5 best players in the league. Cade
He'll be
Cunningham's
good.
a dog,
Yep, he'll be good.
and then just surrounding him with the players that he needs with like Jalen Duren and like it's not people that everyone knows, but it's enough. Like it's kind of similar to I don't want to say the Cavs have like no stars, but it's similar to the way the Cavs are. It's just guys who flow together. Like Donovan Mitchell is like he's the main guy, but you have like people like Jared Allen and Evan Mobley and Darius Garland who are all playing their part, and I'm just happy that the Pistons they won a playoff game. Really.
Yeah. Oh well, yeah. I mean, those are all good points. I mean, but I want the Knicks to play the Celtics. I think that they could at least take 2 from the Celtics, maybe 3, make it a series. Um, whatever needs to happen to lengthen that to kind of wear them down. Um, I do think that pound for pound, we can hang with the Celtics, but I think that we're going to need a healthy team, and that's always it's a big question mark whenever the playoffs roll around. You don't know what happens throughout a 7-game series where you're playing every other night and you're traveling on some of those other nights, and it's tough. It's tough to play in the playoffs. So we need a healthy team if we're going to compete with the Celtics. I know that Jason Tatum was nursing like was it an ankle or wrist?
I
Yeah,
think it was
I don't know.
yeah. And so I mean, who knows how true that is? The NBA loves like building narratives so that people click on stuff. So um, hopefully it is. Hopefully hopefully Jason Tatum, we can handicap him any way possible, but the West is super balanced. Let's talk about the West. Um, super balanced. I mean, all these games are like back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. Um, did the Lakers end up winning? I didn't catch the end of that game.
No, Lakers lost
no.
right at the end. It was a 3 point game.
Okay. Okay. So, well, that series is kind of lopsided now, but that's kind of the only one. Um, everybody everybody playing in the West playoffs has won a game. What
Not the
the
Grizzlies.
Grizzlies haven't? Oh,
Nah,
you're right.
But
I'll say Grizzlies haven't, but
Okay. Maybe it's not as balanced. Well,
well, I would still say they're like Nugs and Clippers 2-2, and then
Warriors,
Warriors Rockets.
it's
It's
3-1
more
now.
balanced. It's more balanced than it's more balanced than the East.
Yeah.
So
There's no blowouts. I mean, when you look at like the Celtics and Orlando or the Cavs and the Heat, those are I mean, they're 40-point blowouts. I feel like if you score 50 plus points on a team, um, just end the series.
I mean, hey, the Thunder did that in Game 1. I think.
That's right.
I don't remember how many points they scored, but
Oh,
that was a
they were
crazy
up, they
game.
were up by 50 at halftime. It was
Yeah, that
crazy.
was crazy.
So yeah, just end this. That should be a consolation prize. The series is over. You win by 50 points.
51 points.
Yeah. So okay. So the Cavs are in a good spot. I'm excited for that. Looks like we'll probably play the Pacers, who scare me, but I think we can match up against them. I don't think that they're as deep. I think that they have good players. I don't think they're as deep. Pascal Siakam, Tyrese Halliburton, definitely good players, but not as deep as the Cavs have proven. I mean, Ty Jerome stepping up in game one, that was huge. I mean, who would have expected that from him? I mean, Giovanni and I talked about earlier DeAndre Hunter and how valuable he was going to be, and he hasn't really been a factor in the postseason so far. Um, but he is still that threat, so that's kind of one of those nice things as well. Um, all right, you anything you guys want to add? NBA playoffs.
I mean, I saw Anthony Edwards. Have you seen him talking about the Lakers? Or he's like, everybody wants the Lakers to win, but that's just not the way it's gonna be. And I think him, like as a young player, becoming the star of the Timberwolves, like he's talking the talk, and right now he's walking the walk. I mean,
Yeah,
3-1 up on one of the like this is a strong Lakers team with LeBron and Luca, and I feel like that's just this is Anthony Edwards' moment right now with the Timberwolves.
Right. No, I like Ant Edwards.
And
Giovanni,
then
anything? Uh, Go ahead, Cooper. You finish, and then we'll go to
uh
Giovanni.
yeah, I was just gonna talk about the Rockets and Warriors. I know that the Warriors are at a lead right now, but I really like the Rockets like as a team, and most of that can be attributed to I love Steven Adams. He's like my favorite NBA player. Steven Adams is he's awesome, and if he wasn't no offense, but if he wasn't so old and he was playing more minutes, I think the Rockets would be beating the Warriors right now. Even though the Warriors are like maybe on paper not as good. The Rockets have like Jalen Green and Amen Thompson, but I want to see the Rockets win really bad, even though they're playing against Steph Curry, the greatest shooter of all time, and Jimmy Butler.
It's
So
a Jimmy didn't even play today, but it's a testament to how good Steph Curry is. I mean, we talk about LeBron, but like it's the Luka Doncic show right now. I mean,
yeah,
LeBron's in these plays, but he's just not. I mean, he's old. Hate to say it, but the guy's getting up there. So St- S- Curry is he's amazing. I mean, his the ability to get open when you know a guy is picking you up before you even step back in bounds on the other end. It's an art. There's
he's
an art to it.
he's like, and I've seen people saying this, people saying he's the greatest point guard of all time. I think he's the greatest player to play the point guard position of all time. Maybe not the greatest like pure point guard, but
I mean,
like he's the greatest player to play point guard of all time. Maybe besides like Allen Iverson.
even then, I mean, Allen Iverson never won a championship. So uh, I don't know. I mean, he goes on if he goes on to the Western Conference Finals this year, which
Oh,
he
and continues dominating
which
like
he has a
through the
very good
playoffs.
right. If he still has
Yeah,
a very good chance. We talked about how balanced it was. Um, he could be in the conversation top 5, in my opinion. Top 5 players of all time. He might already be on
yeah.
in some
He's
debates.
like he's. I would say he's the number one most revolutionary player in NBA history with the way that he has changed the way like the NBA thinks about the 3-point line. It's
Okay.
like him or
I mean,
yeah,
there's yeah, you go down the
him or like
line. So
maybe
Pistol
Reg.
Pete Maravich,
That's true. That's
he
true.
invented they made the 3-point line because of him.
That's true. This is true.
Um,
And like talk about Wilt, they had to change the free throw lines because of him. But I mean, like,
there I
yeah, yeah.
When Wilt played, they literally made dunking illegal for a while
This is true. This is
because
true.
he was just tearing teams up. So, I mean,
This is true.
in our generation, in
Yeah,
this time frame,
that's a little more what I
he has
meant.
taken
But
like I've watched. So when I grew up playing basketball, you wouldn't dare shooting a 3-point shot the way he shoots it. You're getting pulled
oh no.
off the court immediately by your coach. Nowadays, I watch these middle school, high school games where guys are pulling up from 25, 30 feet and no one's saying anything because that's just part of the offense now. It's just, well, the offense is stalled, just jack up a three. And if it goes in, great. If not, you're back on defense. At least it wasn't a turnover. Um, he has changed the way basketball is played now, for sure. I
Yeah,
agree
and
with you.
I feel like that even leads into social media. I see all the time. Do you know what MSHTV is? It's like this basketball camp, and they all they do is play no defense and shoot threes for highlights.
Yeah.
And it's like I don't want to. Curry affected the game in a positive way, but I feel like that has like turned into maybe some negative effects on. And I don't want to say the game's just all 3-pointers now because it's not, but like he has changed it. It is like it's insane. It's actually crazy to think about.
No, I agree with you. Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if they contemplate moving the 3-point line back further because of him.
Yeah,
It
I've
wouldn't
seen
surprise me.
might even add a 4-point line.
Maybe.
That would be wild.
It's not out of the conversation, I'm sure. Okay, so Giovanni, did you have anything you wanted to finish up with the NBA? Go ahead.
I got two things actually. The first one is that the game two NBA game of the Detroit Pistons and the New York Knicks, Detroit fans was booing at Jalen Brunson because he wanted to get more fouls more than was playing to win the game. And when he arrived at the game, Brunson received some boos and some profanity at them, and I feel like Detroit fans was really disrespectful for Jalen Brunson because of that game two thing that happened
Sure.
games ago, and that happened today. And then the second one is that two non-calls today by the refs. Tim Hardaway Jr. with 11.1 seconds left. Josh Hart made contact with Hardaway as he was shooting the possible game winner, and they missed a backcourt violation. And after he missed that game winner for Hardaway Jr., JB Bickerstaff was so irate he wanted to give the refs like official review before they head to the locker room. And David Guthrie, the NBA referee, they confirmed that it should have been a foul. They could have called it, and he would have got three free throws to try to win the game for the Pistons. But obviously, they made the wrong call there, and they should have made that call. And then the backcourt violation is probably, I don't know when the backcourt violation was. I don't know if that was a day or a couple games, but I saw that there was a missed backcourt violation um, for the Pistons to try to get the game winner, I guess. So that's what I have.
Gotcha. Yeah, those are I saw that there was some like a skirmish at the end of the game, but I didn't know JB. Well, I think that there was a couple other things that happened too. I think that Cat got into some with somebody and but yeah, JB was not happy, huh?
Yeah.
So, all right. All right, gentlemen. The last little 10 minutes that we're going to do here. I wrote down some hot takes that I didn't tell you what they were. I want your instant reactions. So this is where you get it's kind of the fun part. You just get to be a fan here. Okay? Most of them are pretty relevant to the current state. And so I just let you go. I'll give you the hot take and then I'll let you kind of we'll go back and forth, okay? First hot take. Who has a better career, Deshaun Watson or Drake May? Giovanni?
I would say Drake May because I know in his rookie season he didn't have the best season, but now with year two on his belt, he can have a good sophomore season. But of course, not Watson because I know he played really great with the Texans, and then when he got traded to Cleveland, everything went downhill from here because he faced lots of allegations against him in 2022 until like 2024 or now. But obviously, um, Drake May has is the hot take right there.
Yeah. Coop?
Um, I'm I'm gonna have to say I think a better career. I think Deshaun Watson has it. I mean, to me, like the one of the craziest things I've ever watched was I was at my buddy's house. This is 2020, and they got football on, and we go downstairs, whatever, like to the basement. We're playing 2K or whatever. We come up, the game's still going. This is Bills versus Bills versus Texans, and Deshaun Watson is going crazy in this overtime drive, and I just feel like he was so good in Houston that it doesn't really like matter as much what he does in Cleveland, what he did in Cleveland. I don't know how much longer he's gonna even be in Cleveland, but
Yeah, I think
that's what I think.
that's the thing is like Deshaun Watson's career might be over. So how many years is Drake May going to play? That
I was
I
gonna
think
say if if Drake May pulls through and he has a good rest of his career, and the debate will be made later when they're both done. I think maybe Drake May could have a better career, but I think at the moment it's probably Deshaun Watson.
Okay. Good. That was good. The next one I have written down, I'm gonna say for the last question because I think this is the hottest one. Probably wrong. Next one. Darius Garland is the best point guard in Cavs history, or will be the best point guard in Cavs history. Go ahead, Giovanni.
Go first. I don't think Dennis Garland is not the best point guard in Cavs history just yet, but he will be. I know Mark Price is the best Cavs point guard of all time, but if Dennis Garland can just stay with us for another like 3 or 4 seasons, then I think he can be the best point guard with the Cleveland Cavaliers of all time.
Yeah. Coop?
I agree with that. I think at the moment it's the greatest is probably Mark Price or Kyrie because of especially what Kyrie did in those playoffs in 2016. But if uh, if he continues, I think he could be the greatest point guard in Cavs history because no offense, but the Cavs don't have a lot of like great point guards like you said, Mark Price, Kyrie, and then like mm, Andre Miller and Mo Williams. No
Right.
offense to anyone
Right.
if I'm
Booby
forgetting them.
Gibson.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like they're the guys that won the championship. I mean, Kyrie, obviously, but
Yeah.
uh yeah, I could see him doing it. I could see him being the best of all time.
That's not ridiculous to say. That's not ridiculous at all.
All right. Next one. Uh let's go with baseball. Baseball
All
would
right,
be
all right, all right.
baseball would be better if they played half the number of games. Go ahead, Giovanni.
I'll go first. I think the MLB is pretty much the good sport of all time. I think if they could have lowered the games instead of 182, then baseball would have been fun to watch if they decreased the games played from 182 to probably like 90 games or something like that.
Even
So I
100. Yeah.
it would be a great sport to either watch or play in if we decreased our games played for 90 games out of 182.
Yeah. Coop.
Yeah, I mean, I it's hard because you look at baseball and I'm sure Mr. Morrison, you know who Secret Base is, the
See.
YouTube channel,
Mm-mm.
Secret Base. So they make tons of amazing videos about like the so many amazing stories of baseball and they do a lot of things. And I'm sure you know what a scoregami is with the
Yeah.
unique scores.
Yep.
And I just feel like cutting the amount of games in half would just change like the whole landscape of you see all these like things that don't happen in other sports and it's I think it's partially because they play so many games. So I think either way it goes, it's going to change like the whole landscape of baseball. If you cut it in half, you're going to be playing half the games. So I mean that's really going to change like the price of tickets. I mean tickets right now to a lot of MLB games are super cheap. You cut
Right.
it in half, those are more like NBA. That's like NBA season.
All right.
And then there's probably going to be a lot less like people getting injured or I just feel like it's either way the amount of games played is like that's going to just change the change baseball like entirely. So I don't really know which way I would go on that.
Yeah, my hot take on that is you lose a little bit of the history of the game. They didn't always play 162 games. So when you look at like the records set by Babe Ruth or Lou Gehrig or those kinds of guys, like it's hard to compare them because they didn't play as many games as some of these other guys. But um at the same time, you like some of the records that are set by guys like Nolan Ryan or by Mark McGuire or something like they'll never be touched if you change the amount of games. And I do think that teams have now started to change the way that they play players to keep them healthy for 162 games. It's just as a fan, it's really hard to follow 162 games a year, through the ups and downs, through the different seasons. I mean, you go from baseball starts at the end of basketball season and ends at the beginning of basketball season. I mean, it is long. Um, and then, the back end of baseball in October is played over football. So, like, it's completely overshadowed, especially on the weekends. So, I,
Yeah, and then to kind of go back to what you're saying with the records, I feel like it's a very similar story with like football where they didn't used to play 17 games a season. They used to play like even
right,
just a few years ago, like records are being broken because of how many games are played, and
correct.
I just feel like it's just it's kind of too hard to say in my opinion. Like it if yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. No, that's a tough one. That's a tough take to land on. All right. Next one. Giovanni, we'll start with you. Nikola Jokic will be a top 5 NBA player of all time.
Well, Jokic is a great player, triple doubles, triple double guy. I think he will be the top five player in the NBA soon, but he just won a championship at the Nuggets like 2 years ago. So if he can just add like a couple more like championships in him in the future, I know he has 10 years on his belt, but if he can add more championship rings to his legacy, then I think he can be a top five player in the NBA soon.
Cool.
I think that right now Nikola Jokic is the best player in the NBA. He's so like intelligent, and he can he can score, and he doesn't even have to try. He jumps like 15 inches off the ground. I mean, but it doesn't to him. I just think the deciding factor is going to be that I think he's going to end up like retiring early because he doesn't really care about basketball. Like you watch him in the interviews, you watch him after games, and he's like, "Yes, I broke another record. Let me go home to my horses."
Yeah.
So, so I think he can easily be like so good, but he just has to really care about the game. Like he has all the potential in the world, but I'm not saying he's not already using that to be the best player in the league because he is. I mean, he averaged a triple double. He's he's insane, but I think he just has to continue to care about basketball for a longer period of time. Because like if he has LeBron James's longevity, he can definitely become the greatest player of all time.
Yeah, I think
Top five,
that's
no
I
doubt.
I think that's why LeBron is top 2, 3, whatever you want, whatever camp you fall in. Um, but I looked up because I was curious in the top 5, and I was looking up, like, Kobe's stats because Kobe would fall somewhere around 3 or 4, greatest players of all time, and, he's not far off of Kobe as far as averages. Obviously, Kobe had more points per game, but Jokic is gonna have more rebounds. Um, and then when you look at the 2, I mean, assists, like Jokic blows him out of the water, and for somebody who's a shooting guard like Kobe, probably should have more assists, but if you remember how Kobe played, he didn't like to pass a lot, he liked to score a lot, which was fine, he won. Um, Jokic's win above replacement is right there with Kobe, so his WAR is right there. Um, so I do think it's interesting. I do think that he'll be close. He'll be close to the top 5 for sure. So,
For sure.
all right, last one, and we'll end it here. The Patrick Mahomes era is done. Go ahead.
It's not going to end just yet because I know he just lost in the Super Bowl 2 months ago. But Patrick Mahomes, he's obviously the torch from Tom Brady to Patrick Mahomes, and he's obviously the greatest quarterback in the 2020s because he just won like three Super Bowls 2020. That is absolutely absurd for a guy um, playing just 7 seasons in the NFL. But the Patrick Mahomes' era in the NFL is not going to end just yet. I think he's going to win at least like two more rings or at least try to get to the Tom Brady Super Bowl championship wins number, then he can definitely retire and will end the Patrick Mahomes' era in the NFL.
Yeah, I agree with that. I don't think it's over just yet. I think this loss to the Eagles is coincidentally kind of similar to when Tom Brady lost to the Eagles. I feel like it's like it's just a minor setback for Patrick Mahomes. I personally I don't like Patrick Mahomes at all, but I'm not gonna sit here and act like he's not the best quarter, one of the best quarterback, like the best quarterback of the 2020s, like Giovanni said. But I think that he's got definitely like 5 more years, maybe 5 more years left in him. I think if he just takes care of himself and he's not trying to give himself a CTE every game like Tua or something. But
So,
yeah,
you think how many more do you think he's gonna win championships?
I think he could get over the span of like 5 years. I think he could get two more. I wouldn't be shocked.
Okay. 2 in the next 5 years.
I would like to see the other three ones be Lions rings, but that's just me.
Gonna need an offensive coordinator. All right, gentlemen. All right, thanks for, joining me. Catch you next
Of
time.
course. See ya.
See ya.